Welcome to today's video where you and I will uncover the power of a solid morning routine and how you can literally have, do, be, earn anything you want when you learn how to prime yourself right. And I have done this over years and years of trial and error, but I've also gone from being broke, sick, unhappy to building a global multi-million-dollar business, living in a healthy body, in a wonderful relationship. Nothing happened by accident. It was all because I learned how to prime myself like my mentors taught me how to do. And today, you'll receive all the same 9 steps, and they will, guaranteed, change your life as well. So let's go. You may have seen a video I did a few years ago about my morning routine at that time. And as you can tell, it has changed because I have changed. I would encourage you to follow these 9 steps going forward because they will take it to the next level for you too. So it doesn't matter where you are, better is a good word and everything can only get better. Why is a morning routine so important? As you will find out later in the video, it will help you change your perception and it will change your state that will cause you to see different things and different outcomes. A solid routine will help you prime you. And what is priming? It's a conditioning. So think about it. If you have to paint over some wood, you would have to put on primer first so that the paint shows up really nicely. It's the same with you. When you prime yourself every day to think the best, to feel the best, to act the best, guess what you're going to find? Ding, 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 ding. That's right, we have a winner. You're going to find the best. You will find better results, better opportunities, more resources, not outside, inside. And that will cause them to show up on the outside. Another factor here is to consider energy and the law of attraction. You are energy. You're nothing but energy. But the law of attraction is a secondary law. It's the law of vibration that's primary. The law of vibration decrees that everything moves, nothing rests. Everything is in a state of flux, constant state of flux, of energy change. You can prime yourself to be in a different energy state. And so the law of attraction responds to your desire, your burning desire, and your expectation of it. So the more you prime yourself, the more you expect it to show up. That's how I attracted Bob Proctor into my life. I was, like I said, broke, sick, unhappy. I wanted to work with the best in the world in personal development at that time. I didn't know how. I had no idea how. But I used this technique. I primed myself every day and I saw myself standing on stage with the best in the world, creating a program with the best in the world. I attracted Bob Proctor into my life 3 months later after starting utilizing this. 3 months later, we literally ran into each other in Las Vegas. How does that happen? I was there. I primed for it. My desire and my expectation was at such a level that it couldn't have been any other way. So the same thing will happen with you. Your resources are going to start to show up. Abundance is your birthright and it will start being attracted to you because you have become a different person. But it starts the evening before, and that is the first step. You have to make a conscious, deliberate decision to get up earlier. I would recommend an hour earlier than usual. I would also recommend that you go to bed an hour earlier than usual because you need a solid 7-8 hours of sleep for you to function and perform the best. So the key is to make what's called an advanced decision. And advanced decision making is something we do all the time to ensure success. Think about it. If you are going to travel somewhere, you don't go to the airport and just hoping that the airline will have a ticket for you. You book the ticket in advance. And you should do the same thing with your morning routine. The second step is, of course, to actually get up. Make sure you set the alarm and do what you have to do to get up an hour earlier. As you're up, you can make a cup of coffee if you drink that, or a cup of tea. And the first thing out of bed should be to write down 10 things you can be very grateful for. 5 things that are in your life. That's always easier to get started with. Your family, maybe your pet, maybe the fact that you're alive, maybe the fact that you experiencing this moment is a miracle in and of itself. The odds are 1 to 400 trillion. How about feeling some gratitude for that? 5 things that are in your life, and then you transfer that emotion as you start feeling better and feeling grateful. Transfer it to 5 things that are on their way into your life that have to do with your goal and your future. It's very powerful because your future pays your gratitude. Everything to do with what we talked about before. You start feeling grateful for something that's on its way. I was grateful for working with the best in the world before Bob Proctor showed up in my life. It wasn't an accident. But if you don't know what you want, how can you ask for it, right? You don't ask by words, you ask by vibration. Wallace Wattles said that the entire process of mental adjustment and atonement can be summed up in one word, and that's gratitude. So the more grateful you are, the more you're connected to your source of supply. It's not outside, it's inside. And in that state, that takes us to the third step. As you're feeling better, you start asking the universe or God, or depending on your religious or your spiritual adherence, you may want to ask the universe, you may want to ask your God for guidance. Ask for guidance. How do you ask? You could ask yourself this question: now that I am in my goal, now that I got here, how did I get here so easy? How did I get here so easy? Or please reveal to me the next step on my journey. Ask a question that feels right to you, and then you stay open to the answer. It might not arrive right then and there, but know that you cannot have the question without the answer. That's the law of polarity. And that's a different subject for a different day. But you couldn't have one without the other. So as you ask the question, the answer is there, but you just have to stay open to receiving it. Now, before we get to the end, there is a pitfall that is so overlooked, and it happens almost all the time to people who are priming themselves. Make sure you follow to the end, where I'm going to go into detail about what that is. And now let's keep going on the steps. The fourth step is to send love to people who have in some way crossed your path or wronged you or did something, said something they shouldn't have done. It has nothing to do with them. It has everything to do with yourself and your own frequency. Because if you still have guilt, blame, maybe it's yourself you have to forgive. Maybe there's some guilt there, some resentment there towards yourself. But forgiveness creates a shift in perception that makes you aware of love's presence, and it sets yourself free. But most importantly, you let go of something that's been holding you back. And so it has nothing to do with the other person, like I said. It has everything to do with you. So you think of the person and you bring them in, you close your eyes, you bring them into your consciousness. And what you can do to make this easier is to realize that they may be an adult now, but they were just a kid, a scared little girl or a scared little boy that maybe experienced something that wasn't nice for them, that caused them to adopt a certain belief or an attitude or behavior that they then expressed towards you later in life. So when you go back on the timeline and you find that little girl, that little boy, you can send them love, you can embrace them that way, and that sets you free in the process. And now, for the fifth step, you want to write down your goal. If you don't have a goal, you should have one. You need one. Not because of the goal, actually, because it's just a growth mechanism. It has to do with yourself, your own personal development. A goal is there to grow from, to grow into. And getting it, achieving it, earning it will be the byproduct. You have become a different person in the process, and that is the main goal. So you want to have a clear sentence written down that describes your goal, and you want to write it out 10 times in hand, and write it out interchanging between right hand and left hand. And it doesn't make any sense. It is illogical. I do it every morning. I'm on day 1651 today in a row of doing this process or elements of the process. It's neurologically proven that it creates a whole brain state, and you actually impress your subjective mind much more effectively. So write out a sentence that describes your goal in present tense. I'm so happy and grateful now that I am creating, earning, being, whatever it is you want. And 10 times change from right to left to right to left, 5 times in each. And for the sixth step, this is where you want to study and immerse your mind into materials that will expand you as a person. You should always be studying something that has to do with the business you're in or your area of expertise if you have a job, and your own development. Those two areas are crucial. I would recommend the classic book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, if you don't know what to study. That book changed my life 20 some years ago, and it will change yours dramatically. And the way you study is not just read through it. You take a paragraph, you take maybe a few pages, And you go through the same thing over a few days, maybe over a week, until you start finding that your behavior shifts towards an outcome. That is probably one of the most important things Bob Proctor taught me, was to study with a goal in mind, with the end in mind, with an outcome in mind, and then always looking at, have my behavior changed as it relates to that particular topic? That's when you know you've learned something. Everything else is just gathering information. And I've added something new in that I haven't done before as part of my morning routine before I do my walk and my workout. I do a cold plunge. I've invested in a cold plunge pool that is close to freezing. It's about 42 degrees Fahrenheit or 5 degrees Celsius. And I stay in there for 3 minutes. It's not easy in the beginning, but you build up your tolerance. You don't have to go that extreme, but you could also just do a cold shower. Maybe a cold shower is also a good way to get into a similar state. It has a lot of health benefits, mental and physical benefits that we could do a separate video on. I do it mainly for recovery, muscle recovery after workout, and also the mental benefit. You feel amazing. And after the plunge, I don't dry myself. I just put on clothes while I'm wet. I know it sounds uncomfortable, and it really is. You start shivering. It's very healthy though. It's a process called thermogenesis, because your body starts warming back up from the inside. So you burn a lot of calories and you feel great afterwards. And I also do some jumps on my rebounder to get the blood flow back, because it sort of feels like it's stopping in the cold plunge. You can't feel your arms and your feet any longer. So doing some hops on the rebounder helps. And then I go on my walk. Now for the 8th step, you want to do a walk, a brisk 15-minute walk, or another kind of exercise. If you're going to be doing the walk, you can reaffirm the gratitude. I'm so happy and grateful. Affirm your goal. Do some incantations. All the energy, all the power I need is already within me now. I do that. I do deep breathing first. I do gratitude second. And then I do incantations as the third element on my walk. And then I usually go into the gym for about 30 to 45 minutes. And that takes us to the 9th step, which is a breakfast if you eat it, or wait by breaking your fast until later. In my case, I usually fast until noon. So I would go to the bathroom, get myself in order, and get my day going. And there you have a powerful, solid morning routine that, if you do it every day, will take you far beyond your wildest dreams. Like Wallace Wattles said, when you do certain things in a certain way every day, you're guaranteed success. This has done wonders for my life, and I'm just getting started. I'm on day 1651, and I'm looking forward to counting the days with you too. For the pitfall, the thing most people overlook is that once they prime themselves, they feel better, they feel more energized, and they also tend to work harder and spend more hours doing what they love to do. And that should not happen. I've made a video also about this subject, why hard work is never the answer. So now that you learned to prime yourself properly, make sure you check out that video too. This is Anders Hansen. I'll see you in another video. Bye for now.